This is the sixth day in a row of December in which I've uploaded either a long form video or a live stream. And here I am once again. I'm back and I'm better. I'm back and I'm better. Working a 12-hour shift. Nah, I'm only saying this because I know nobody in the present is watching this. Unless you're replaying a live stream back, you can low key skip this part until like a certain timestamp. Because I'm going to be yapping for the first minute or two while I wait for people to come in. And it's also going to be a short live stream, I believe. So, anyways, I am working a 12-hour shift. And every Saturday, I work a 12-hour shift. And I won't say at what restaurant it is. But I do end up asking myself, why am I here? Why am I here? And that is a question that can apply in so many contexts. You know what I'm saying? Situations of context where you can mean it existentially and wanting an answer that way, or you can just mean it in terms of the physical location that you're at. Like, why am I in school? Why am I in high school? Why am I in this class? Why am I in college? Why am I in this restaurant working a 9 to 5? Right? A 12-hour shift in my personal life. You know? And excuse me. Wow. I am on break right now. So it's like an hour break and I'm probably going to live stream for 20 minutes. But, you know, you can ask that question in two different types of ways. Why am I here existentially? And why am I here in the superficial sense? And I found myself asking it in both ways a lot. You know, and I actually do have an answer for existentially and the superficial sense of, you know, why am I here working this 9 to 5 at 21 years old? Why am I living in my parents' house? You know, sometimes I'll ask, why am I still staying with my parents at the age of 21? And there's plenty of reasons. Okay, this requires a lot of nuanced and advanced thinking and responsibility taking. All right, it requires you taking a lot of responsibility, especially if you are my age or older. Okay, I believe 21 years old is pretty much the age that you should start taking responsibility. And so when you ask the question, why am I here? In the sense of your physical location, you know, that's different from existentialism, right? Like, why am I here existentially, like as a human being on a moving rock, you know, rotating rock in outer space? You know, you might feel pretty small. But in the physical sense of your life, you ask yourself, why am I in school? Why am I in college? Why am I in my 9 to 5 job? It is simply you living out the consequences of your actions. If you're an adult, you know what I'm saying? Now, when it comes to high school, it's just a matrix happening. All right, you're just planted into a matrix society and you have to go through it for 18 years. Then you have the first major adult decision of your life to decide either to go to college and continue in that matrix for 4 more years, or you can do another matrix thing like enter the 9 to 5 straight after high school. And we're all doing this, right? I'm not demonizing the matrix, so to speak. I'm not saying this is an inherently bad thing. But when you ask yourself, why am I here? Especially at my age of 21 or even older, it is simply the consequences of your actions. And even further, the metaphysical and mental reason, psychologically, is that, hey, how you doing, James? How you doing, Connor Barman? How you doing, James? Essentially, you are living out the consequences of your past assumptions. Because guess what? Our external world is the reflection of our internal world. The assumptions we like to make about who we are and what we are worthy of and what we are capable of, we, in the present moment, are living out the consequences of our past assumptions. So, for example, if you are 21 years old living in your parents' house, you are probably living out the consequences of past assumptions that, let's say, for example, you weren't strong enough to grind from the age of 18 to 21. Or you had the assumption that you were lazy. You had the assumption that you maybe didn't have a purpose or that you didn't feel like grinding and hustling, getting money in order to move out by the age of 21. That's kind of my situation. Like, I'm living out those consequences of, giving power to those thoughts and turning them to assumptions. And then I persisted in those assumptions until they become fact, until I started experiencing these assumptions as if they were fact, and they started shaping my reality to keep me in places I did not want to be. And I'm still in those places I don't want to be right now. And because of my past assumptions, we might be living out the consequences of that for the next 6 months, next 12 months, depending on how fast we turn things around through exercising a shift in our present assumptions, raising our self-image to that which we identify with, things that we feel are more worthy of. You know what I'm saying? We raise our sense of self-worth and our sense of self-esteem and our sense of ability. You know what I'm saying? Asking ourselves, are we strong enough to achieve this task? And answering yes. And then having to deal with the distractions that go on in our minds, such as the temptation to mindlessly scroll on social media, the temptation to watch adult content, and to give into instant gratification, right? All of these distractions within the matrix. Oh, to watch the news, this and that, things that are not in alignment with our purpose. Because of our addiction to instant gratification and dopamine, it's so easy for us to be distracted and put our attention towards that. And we might still, here and there, for a couple hours a day, have kind of like divided attention, towards our goals, our highest goals. We visualize, we fantasize about, our dream life and what we would look like if we were our ideal selves. But nonetheless, that attention is still divided. And you must put your full attention into one task, into the present moment, okay? That's what I call living in the present moment wholly for what it is, and just working on what you know you need to work on. And it's the hardest work you'll ever do is inside your own mind, okay? Physical work is still hard labor, trust me. I know a lot of people who are building houses right now. Shit, there's somebody next to me building a entire building, and that is hard work. But really, really inside your mind, that decision to keep moving forward and to not give into distractions or temptations or instant gratification, that to me, from my experience, is the most difficult thing. So once you learn to do consciousness work, to make yourself conscious of what you're doing in the present and going meta with that, what I call meta awareness, and living fully, mindfully in the present moment and going meta with your awareness, that truthfully, when you apply it consistently over time, is what helps you shift your identity and basically help you persist in those new assumptions of how you'll make your new reality, your dream reality, come to be. No matter how many months it takes, no matter how many years it takes, all it takes is persistence, consistency, faith, etc. Right? And I meant to say this in the last live stream too, when I was talking about what is success and what is the definition of success and why is somebody's success inevitable. It's all about the mind. And additionally, there is a factor, because we are living a human experience, okay? You might make the claim that we are spiritual beings, truthfully, but we are still trapped, if you want to call it trapped, inside of a human body, having the human experience, and that comes with the illusion of time. And when you experience the illusion of time, in this human life, you still have to wait out and wait patiently for your vision to manifest in this external reality. But it could come as an experience. It might seem like it's faster if you continue to put your attention inside of your mind, like you turn your attention inward. You basically turn off the five senses of the external world. You turn your attention inward inside your own mind, in your mind's eye, and what you can visualize, what you can hear with your own imagination. And the more that you immerse yourself throughout the day, especially during the first hour that you're awake and the last hour before you go to sleep, if you can reprogram your subconscious mind and fully immerse yourself in your imagined world where you are who you want to be and you've manifested what you've wanted to manifest, then I do believe you'll experience time going faster, and time going even more faster the more consistent you are and the more intense you are. You know what I'm saying? The more consistent you are throughout your day, but the more intense your imagination is, and how vivid you make it, and how fully you immerse yourself while taking actions in the present to take that one small step. One small step is low key a giant leap. Like one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind type stuff. Exactly. Exactly. I am talking about some very advanced, sophisticated stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do believe if you are in high school right now, even if you are as young as 15 or 16 years old, you can most definitely understand these topics depending upon how the speaker is simplifying them. Okay, how elementary the speaker is explaining these topics, or else you might come across a very advanced speaker who hasn't translated and basically made it simple for anybody to understand. But I do believe reality is understandable for anybody, any age, because I was 8 years old, fascinated with time travel. And then at 11 years old, I remember in school, I really wanted to invent a time machine. So I kind of faked it. I walked through a box of cardboard and pretended that, oh, zero point 0.2 seconds passed. Therefore, I was living in the future. I don't know how to explain it, but I tried creating a time 11 years old. So you can try understanding the surface levels as to what infinity truly is, and then going deeper and deeper over time, starting at the age of honestly 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Did I just say 6, 7? I didn't even mean to, bro. But legit, when you're in elementary school and you are built different, you can have the same thoughts I was having as to like, man, I'm so fascinated with time travel. Like, you can legit explore the power of your mind at those ages. Let yourself build yourself up throughout these adolescent ages, and then here's me, 21 years old. And at 21 years old, I do believe I have a greater peace of mind than like 99% of people. But it takes a lot of consciousness work, and you have to sacrifice so much. You have to stop giving your attention to so many things. You might even have to cut off friends. You have to cut off friends. You have to stop going to a bunch of parties where there's alcohol and smoking, and you have to deal with the peer pressure. You have to deal with your parents telling you to pursue this major in university. Yada this, yada that, yada this, yada that. Society is going crazy. Society is basically a mass hallucination that is constantly, like a matrix, distracting you from your soul urge and your heart's desire and what you truly want to do in this life and what you love to create, what you love to do. You're constantly bombarded with distractions from, especially in the age of social media and the advancement of AI. It's just crazy, bro. It's crazy. I really appreciate all the support in this live stream. I know people have been coming and going, but I do plan on uploading as much as possible, whether it's live streaming or uploading like these 20-minute live excuse me. I'm tripping today, bro. You know what I mean though. I just want to be consistent. And I'm gonna read your comments real quick. So shout out to Con and Barman. James, how you doing? Oscar said 6767. Thank you for programming my mind even further to say those numbers. He said, what am I talking about? And Logan was right. When Logan said, I'm talking about the fabric of reality and where we stand in it while balancing the battle between good and evil. Exactly. Exactly. I'm talking about how much power we have as one individual to ask certain questions and to realize our potential through solving those questions. Like I'm talking about existential questions, philosophical questions, and even doing our own self-reflection. Hey, that rhymed. Self-reflection meaning that you don't literally have to look in the mirror. Like you can obviously choose to look in the mirror, and that would be self-reflection if you're asking yourself questions about, you know, how much progress have I made? And if I haven't made as much progress as I've wanted, why haven't I made that much progress? And asking yourself so many why questions, WHY. Why am I here? Like the live stream title says, why am I here? You can ask that in the existential sense of the cosmos. Why am I a human being on a floating rock in outer space? Or you could ask yourself, why am I here in this physical location, in school, working a 9 to 5? And when it push comes to shove and you're an adult, It's likely as a result. Actually, not likely. It is guaranteed to be a result of your past assumptions. The present reality you live is just a reflection of your past assumptions because the external world takes time to reflect your internal world, aka how you believe yourself to be, how you see yourself, um, how strong you think you are, how capable you think you are of achieving a vision, and how worthy you believe you are of attaining a certain thing, and how strong that identity is. And of course, psychologically, the addictions we have to deal with, the our love and lust for instant gratification, and how often we procrastinate on our goals because, hey man, it's just within our psychology. And truthfully, although a lot of this was formed during childhood when we were helpless, when you're an adult, 18 plus, 21 years old, you at some point have to stand up and look in the mirror and take responsibility and be like, okay, these addictions and my psychology is not my fault right now, but I have the power to change my psychology to become even better, to become more wise, more loving, more creative, more strengthful. Strong is what I meant, more strong, and overall just become a better man because that's the responsibility I have to take now. Can no longer play a victim. That's just what I told myself though. Like, if of course victimhood is very real in certain circumstances, but that's what I had to tell myself. And even nowadays, I still have to pick my boots up and just go to work because like that's what a man does. You know what I'm saying? We cannot just sit here and do nothing. We can't sit here and complain. We can't cry about a situation all the time. We just have to do our best to change that present reality and set forth a vision and take one small step, a mindful step, peaceful step at a time. Because yes, it might seem far away, but if you can focus on putting one foot in front of the other, peacefully walking step by step and enjoying the present moment, living mindfully and taking in the air, focusing on your breath and the way you're walking as you do it, then it makes time go by faster. Okay? Because you're walking to your destination, but time does go by faster when you are enjoying and having a really good time with the way you're walking and breathing and whatever friends you may have along the way. Right? And I know Logan said right here, makes sense. Some professional athletes have practiced and strained their skills so much they were able to process. Excuse me, my bad. I kind of have this. I just ate a meal, so sometimes I'll do this. But some professional athletes have practiced and strained their skills so much they were able to process time faster than everyone else. They would say that time just slowed down for them. That's facts. That is truthful. In terms of, you consider the best athletes in the world, when they're locked in, when they're in the zone, when they're in the flow state, and they've done this many times before, preparation. Luck is just preparation meeting opportunity. So when you look at Kobe Bryant, you look at LeBron James and the way they behave in these very high pressure games, they've been there before. And in their mind, they identify as somebody who's been there before. They make the assumption that they are capable in game time, game time, whether it's the fourth quarter and it's high pressure and they need to make that bucket for their team because they're the team leader. They make all these assumptions about who they are. And you do experience time faster that way if you are the top of professional athletes. Otherwise, if you are not as good as the best and you're sort of a role player on the basketball team, time might go by slower for you in terms of your experience because of all the fear that you're going through. You're fearful that you might not make the basket for your team. So you pass the responsibility to guess who? The team leader, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, those who have the Mamba mentality and identify with the version of them that is truly capable and is worthy of having the ball in game time and swishing that game-winning shot. You feel me? So, yes, I'm not saying it's difficult. I am saying, though, It is heavily, heavily mental. You know what I'm saying? If you take a look at a game on a basketball court or a football field, notice how the game is mostly mental. Yes, there's physical work being done. You're tackling people in football and you're defending people in basketball and you're moving your feet. Um, but think about the power of the mind and what makes the best of the best the best. You know what I'm saying? Like asking yourself, what makes this player who's truly the best, like Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, and then saying, what makes them different from just the average normal Joe who's a role player for his team? And it's really a lot about the assumptions you make about who you are. And so, yeah, I do ask myself so often, why am I here? And hey, man, I'm here to create. I'm here to create and I'm here to experience. So when you combine those two, creating and experiencing, you are here to create experiences. And I know it's not the dramatic or exciting answer most people want. They hear that and they go, "Oh my gosh, so lame." I was hoping that our life purpose would be to fight titans like it's the movie Attack on Titan. Excuse me, the anime. I'm tripping. The anime Attack on Titan. I was thinking my life purpose would be that I would be Eren Yeager and I have to fight a bunch of titans who are 1,000 times physically bigger than me. But that's a purpose you create, and that's an experience you have. So experience is first order. Think about that. Experience is first order. The fantasies that we have are second order. Really, second order to our assumptions, because they might not even be real without our assumptions. They're just fantasies, right? But what we truly experience right here, right now, in the present moment, where we are, that is an experience, and that is first order. Our thoughts about the experiences are second order, because, amen, experiences come before thoughts. Being comes before knowing. We could be a legend before we know that we're a legend, right? That's just how ontology, I believe, the scientific term is, and the study. It's a study ontology. And I don't know if they teach that in university either, but it is still a study of first order experience, second order thoughts about your experiences, etc., etc. Um, yeah. I wasn't saying that like professional athletics and sports are necessarily that difficult. It's just a matter of, I mean, it is hard work, but it's not impossible. It really isn't impossible. You can do anything you put your mind to. When Kanye West said he was capable of making the NBA, you know what I'm saying, a rapper turning into a basketball player and then becoming the best of the best. All it takes really is self-belief and then you putting in the work as a result of that self-belief. So that's why I made the claim that sports are mostly mental and not as physical as we interpret. But why am I here? Existentially, I'm here to create. I'm here to experience, create experiences, and to awaken, because it's it's very, very deep. I don't think it's complicated, but it does go so deep to the point that people for some reason cannot wrap their heads around it. Why God would create us. Like, why did a divine creator who's infinitely intelligent and infinite and all this, why would they create us human beings when we are just small specks? We are just very, very tiny things in this vast universe that spans trillions, quadrillions of light years, you know? But I think God did us really, really good. Like, God gave us a ton of abilities to experience life as a sandbox. He treated us nicely. He's really generous. Like, God is really generous because of the fact that we can truly experience this life as a sandbox. We have so many abilities to build whatever kind of life you want. That's why we took humans to the moon and mankind stepped foot on the moon. How many times we did that? I don't know. Will we do it again? Of course, because that is the persistence of the human imagination. Where we go wrong is we make the assumption that the human imagination is not profound, is not divine, is not infinite. But the human imagination, you turn your attention inward, you can imagine anything you want. Think about that. You can imagine anything you want, turning your attention inward and seeing things with your mind's eye. You have the power to just generate any image, any video, any experience. You can generate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 senses within this film that you're watching within your own mind. And you can be like, oh, I get it now. The human imagination is infinite and way more divine than what I interpret it as. You know, people like to think that human imagination is just a tool, like it's somehow only a tool for creating reality. But human imagination is what creates reality. Okay? Human imagination is what creates your assumptions, and your assumptions is kind of like the middleman that creates reality. Okay? Do not knock what I'm saying, bro. Do not knock what I'm saying. God created man so man could become God. God is very, very generous in that aspect, where when God created man, he created man in his image, meaning that in his likeness, he gave us those superpowers of the imagination. And look what we have. We have cities. We have cities upon cities, and we have airplanes flying above those cities, and we have rocket ships flying to outer space, some that we ride so we can step on the moon. And you're telling me the human imagination is just a tool? No. So hopefully right there, I just answered for you why we are here existentially. It is to realize how godlike we truly are and stepping into our creator role, like to start playing creative mode as if it's Minecraft and to stop playing survival mode. To every step of the way transition from a victim mentality, oh, I'm a victim of life, and then awakening to that and be like, no, I'd rather adopt a creative mentality. And along the way, there will be a bunch of thoughts. I'll give power to the uplifting thoughts, the empowering thoughts, the creative thoughts, because that's what we just have the power to do. We do, you know? So we are first order in terms of our higher awareness and consciousness that recognizes the thoughts that we're having. The thoughts are second order. Being comes first. We are gods of our reality. So with that being said, I do have to go back to the Matrix, aka my hamster wheel of working 12-hour shifts every Saturday. Hey, how you doing, Cesar? Hey, unfortunately, I have to wrap up this live stream. I'm in the Matrix right now, and I got to go back to a restaurant, you know what I'm saying, and serve people seed oils, soda, and what else when you call it? All the stuff that really isn't good for our bodies, but it is what it is. Everybody has their transitional period, I'm in my transition era right now. I'm in between two worlds. And what you guys who are watching this right now, your life is so magical and your imagination is so wonderful that you will too have a transitional period where you go from something boring and mundane like this to something that excites you every single day. A purpose that excites you every single day. A purpose that you're able to put all of your attention to. But for me, I'm in this transitional period where I can only kind of put how many hours a day into that purpose, because the other hours of my day I have to put my attention towards, and especially have my physical body in a restaurant. So hopefully that makes sense. Like, everything is magical, even the transitional period where you might experience pain that you aren't living the life that you want to live yet. But as long as you're building that life that you want to live and you are seeing progress and you're making progress, that's all that matters. Like, that is what inspires me to keep moving forward and hopefully inspires you to keep moving forward. So with that being said, this live stream is ending for a reason. It's to make true a vision we believe in. A, A, B.